So what we're going to need to do, or what you would need to do if you were going to use a text variable to personalize your course, probably quite early on in the course you would need to ask the learners to enter their name if you're going to use their name to increase the personalization. So you imagine perhaps that this is a very early slide within the course where we're going to ask the learners to actually enter their first name so that we can use it later on in the course to personalize slides and interactions. So how do we do that? Well, what we're going to need to do first of all is to make sure that we're in the insert menu. Then you can see we're going to go up to the controls option up here, click on that, and at the very bottom here you can see we've got this option which is called a text entry field. So I'm going to just click on that and I'm going to put that in there, and you can see it's just inserted a text entry field for me there. Notice as well that it's also put it over there into the triggers panel. Now at the moment perhaps that's not quite as attractive as you might want it to be, or perhaps not suitably formatted for what you want, so just keep in mind that actually for any text entry field you can format it just like any other object on your storyline slide. You can change the outline, you can change the fill, you can alter the text that you type in here. I'll just perhaps type your first name here instead of type your text here. So you've got an awful lot of flexibility in terms of what the text entry box looks like. So that's fine for now for what we want to do. Now the other thing that we might want to do as well, because if we go over here, can you see this says manage project variables. So this is quite an important button to remember if you're using variables, because basically this is the place where all of your variables are listed and where you can do some editing of those variables. So probably one of the things that we perhaps would like to do here is to just give our text variable, a slightly more meaningful name than just text entry. So we can do that. We can actually just click on it like that, and I'm going to rename it from text entry to first name, because after all that is actually what we're asking the learners to enter with that variable. So you can see there, just called that first name. That's fine, so that's good. Okay, now you can see again on the triggers panel, although that hasn't changed, can you see now the trigger is actually saying set first name. Okay, so it's actually changed the name of the variable there, so that's great. So this would be the slide where we would capture that piece of text from the learner, store it in that variable that we've called first name, and have it ready then for reuse in order to display it at various points in the course. And actually a great place where we could display the user's first name would be this example that we were looking at before, which is the email interaction. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger so that you can see that a little bit more readily. And one of the ways that you could do that, which would be very nice actually, in the from address of the email, it would be very nice, wouldn't it, if we could actually have the learner's name appearing there. Well, that's great, we can do that. All we need to do is to type in a reference to that variable so that Storyline knows that when it displays this slide, it's actually got to take whatever text is stored in that variable and display it here. So I'm going to do this one manually. So what I'm going to need to do is to type a %sign, and then I'm going to actually need to type in the name of the variable, which if you remember was first name, and then close that with another %sign. Okay, and then at the bottom it would also be very nice as well, wouldn't it, if we could have the learner's name as the sign off at the bottom there. Now I'm going to show you a different way to insert the reference to the variable this time. I'm going to go back to the insert menu, and I'm going to go to this option here, reference, which brings up a list of variables. Of course here we've only got the one variable, so that's fine, and you just click OK to that, and can you see there it's put that reference in there for you, so you don't even have to think about that. And the good thing about doing it that way, of course, is that there's less likelihood that you'll actually mistype the variable. So you've got a couple of options there. So that's great, we've put the two references in now. So let's just make the tiny bit smaller like that. So let's now preview the scene, because we've got the two slides. We've got the one where we're actually capturing the learner name, and then we've got the one where we're going to see it displayed back to us. So let's just click on the scene to preview it. So you can see then it's saying type your first name here. So let's just imagine as a learner name, my name is Bob. So I'm just going to put Bob in there like that, and I'm going to click enter. And let's then have a look at there. It's a little bit small, but can you see it's saying bob@lor.com, and then at the bottom there it's saying all the best, Bob. So that's just a nice way of being able to personalize the course, and in this particular example to personalize the interaction and just make it look and feel that much more authentic for the learners. So that's the use of text variables within Storyline.